We're going to replace a VTEC solenoid valve gasket today. Let's get to work. This is what we're working on today, a 2004 Honda Accord EX with a 2.4 liter K24 engine. Alright, our VTEC solenoid valve lives right back there on the back of the engine. These are also called rocker arm oil control solenoids or spool valve assemblies. But if we take a peek back here, that's where it lives right there. So we got a couple of electrical connectors we got to deal with and some bolts holding it into place. But as these vehicles age, they start to leak oil and the gasket has to be replaced. So that's what we're going to do today. Alright, first thing we'll do, disconnect these electrical connectors. The one back here on the back side, see if we can get that. That's the one that actually goes to our solenoid itself. There, I just unplugged it. Just grab the little clip and pull it up. So that controls the solenoid, and then this one is actually a pressure switch, and the engine computer uses that as a feedback circuit so that it knows whether this is actually working or not. So let's see if we can get this one also. And now I might need to get a tool to get down in there because this little cover's in the way. But if we don't have to pull it off right now, I won't. Alright, I was able to just reach down there with my other hand and grab it. So both of them are disconnected. Now usually there's a clip on the back side that holds this wiring harness to our valve assembly. And reaching back here, it seems like it's broke. I think somebody's probably already worked on this in the past and it's broke. So right now we don't have to deal with that. If yours isn't broken, you're going to have to reach around there and disconnect that clip. Alright, we got 3 bolts holding this valve on. Hopefully you can see them because I can't. I think, let's see, we got one right here, one over here, and one down here somewhere. So we'll grab a 10mm socket and get those 3 bolts out. Alright, we got a 10mm socket. See if we can't crack these free. A lot of times they're on there pretty tight if they've been on there a while. Alright, that one's free. And where's the other one? Help me out, I can't see it. Alright, that one's free. Let's see, where's the third one? Right there. Okay, feels like they're all loose. Alright, now we'll just see if we can't spin these out. I'm using a magnetic socket so I don't drop this. And I still almost dropped it, but there's the first one. Alright, we'll get this bottom one here. And we'll get this one. And you can see our solenoid stuck in place. Alright, we'll just set that rag in place and see if we can't pop our solenoid off. And there we go. Hopefully you can see it. Alright, there's a look at the VTEC solenoid. And there's our gasket we're going to be replacing. Here's our oil pressure switch. We're going to take that off and there's an O-ring in there. We're going to go ahead and replace that also. Now, sometimes these things start to leak internally. You can take them apart and maybe you can try to find the correct gaskets or O-rings that go in there. You'd have to find the size because Honda doesn't sell them. Typically when they start leaking internally, you just end up replacing this valve. But today we're just going to replace this gasket and the O-ring in there. Alright, let's see if we can't get this gasket out. I like to try to use plastic if I can, or nylon in this case, so I don't damage the mating surface. Sometimes you can get it out, a lot of times you can't. And it looks like this one's not wanting to cooperate. It's not completely rock hard, but it's pretty stiff. So let me grab something else. Alright, I'm just going to use this pick with a hook on the end, and we'll grab it, hook it out. Now what I'm doing is I'm hooking right in the middle of the gasket. I'm not going on the edge where our mating surface is, on either edge. I want to just go right where the rubber is, because that's what we're replacing, and kind of grabbing it and hooking it and pulling it out. So hopefully you can see where I was grabbing right there, right in the middle. So that's what I try to do, and that way we're not doing any damage, because we don't want to damage the mating surface, because then otherwise we're going to end up replacing this valve because the new gasket will just leak. Alright, now I'm going to pop this 10mm out and we'll take this cover off. And it just comes apart. This will allow us to clean it up a little bit easier. Alright, we'll go ahead and pop our oil pressure switch off with a 22mm. That way, now we can get things cleaned up. And here's our O-ring that we're going to go ahead and replace. So we'll just grab that, get it out of there. Now, I'm just going to take a bunch of brake cleaner. We're going to clean all this stuff up. Alright, got everything cleaned up. Used about 1.5 cans of brake cleaner, so now we can start putting things back together. Here's the old clip. It was stuck in our little cover here, and of course it's broken. So I think I will probably go ahead and install this on the wiring harness, and that way we should be able to just plug that in when we're all done. That way those wires won't rub right here and create any issues in the future. I also cleaned up our mating surface here, so this side is also good to go. Alright, we'll see if we can't figure out where this wire harness is attached. I'm just going to guess. And you can check these VTEC solenoids for resistance. You can put your test leads across there, and it should be between 14 and 30 ohms. Alright, here are our new parts. Typically these come in bags of 5, which is why they're not in bags right now. But Honda calls this a spool valve filter, and Honda calls this a VTEC oil pressure switch O-ring. So there are your part numbers for each one. Alright, we'll go ahead and set the new O-ring in place. So we can just set it right there, just like that, and then thread this in. Trying not to move it around. Now, these are 16 foot-pounds, so we'll go torque that properly so we don't damage our new O-ring. Alright, we'll just put it in the vise so we can torque this down. I do have some nylon protectors on my vise here, and of course we're not going to clamp it on our mating surface there, so we'll clamp it over here. And we just need to get it snug. We don't need to crush it down. And like I said, we'll go ahead and torque this down to 16 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and put our cover back on. Alright, when we're putting this cover back on, we got to make sure that all of our bolt holes line up perfectly. And this is only like 8.7 foot-pounds, so we don't need to crush it down. But if these are a little bit misaligned, you're going to have trouble putting those bolts in, and then you have to take it apart or at least loosen this up. And we'll go ahead and put our spool valve filter into place. It's got little tabs so it won't fall out, but we just gently press it into place so that it won't come out. And now it's ready to go back on the vehicle. Alright, let's get this back into place. See if I can do this. Can't really see what I'm doing. All three of these bolts are the same. Where are you at? Alright, that's about as tight as I can get them by hand, so it's down pretty far. Alright, these are only 7.2 foot-pounds, so we just want to be smart about this. Most important thing is let's get them even. Alright, let's see if we can't connect this wiring harness here. Alright, got the wiring harness reconnected. Let's get these plugged in. Make sure to give them a tug so that they are fully seated. Alright, let's do a final check. Yeah, we got things plugged in, we got them torqued down, we got our wiring harness back. Let's see, we got to grab our rag and we got to get our flashlight. And that's how you do a spool valve filter on a K24 engine. And as always, if the video helped you out or you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.